As we come to question 12, this quote from chapter 3 really got me, where Ibram is saying, for all of its life-shaping power, race is a mirage, which doesn't lessen its force. We are what we see ourselves as, whether what we see exists or not. Race is a mirage, but one that we do well to see, while never forgetting it's a mirage, never forgetting that it's the powerful light of racist power that makes the mirage. So he goes on to say, I still identify as a black man, not because I believe blackness or race is a meaningful scientific category, but because our societies, our policies, our ideas, our histories, our cultures have all rendered race and made it matter. So I'm just fascinated by this notion that I've never thought about this way, that he points out that there are parts of Africa where the people there are more genetically related to people on other continents than to their fellow Africans. And yet, we've created the construct of black people, white people, Asian people. And he points out that's a construct, that's not very biologically accurate. But then he goes on to point out, because we see it that way, all kinds of meaning gets put into that. And so I hear him saying, I'm proud to be a black man. But what does that really mean? I don't know. It sort of bends my mind and makes me really think.
Mm-hmm. I think we are all more alike than we have previously thought we were. Or somehow race has been created so that we can classify people, right? That
99.9% genetically the same statistic, I've heard it before, but remembering again was like 0.1% difference between us.
I remember that because I remember that press conference with President Clinton, and I remember being insulted as a Christian, thinking, how do these scientists think they have figured out the mind of God? That was one of the, we have gotten a glimpse into the mind of God. And maybe so, because we are all genetically almost the same, right? There's no difference. But these race classifications, it's almost like a spoonful of sugar makes the medicine go down, right? Like if we can just make these little changes or these little different ways that we perceive one another, then we can assign a hierarchy that says this race of people is better, and then this race of people is less than, and this race of people is less than and less than. So what is the purpose of assigning this race other than financial gain, political gain, economic gain? There's no real reason. But then on the other side of the coin, let's get to that now. I can still be proud to be a black man.
That's where it's going.
Right, and still say, but my race doesn't matter. It's sort of like I'm proud to be an American, but I'm no different than someone from Spain but we think that because we're in America, it's just this way that we somehow classify ourselves as better or not so much better, but it's a trap.
I wonder, I don't know, I'm probably about to say something stupid. It won't be the first time, it won't be the last time. So I'm proud to be a gay man. Being a gay man, there are some differences between me and straight men, or between me and straight people, but those differences are minimal in the overall scheme of things. And so I can have this dual identity of I'm gay, but that's a little bit of a construct too, on the Kinsey scale, got all different kinds of sexuality. I don't know. I haven't fully digested this.
Right, and the thing that you think, if you're going to put it in those types of terms, this is a whole nother sermon, a whole nother book, but do those differences make you less of a man? See, you identify as gay, but that doesn't make me any less of a man than a straight man. But a straight man will use that title to classify himself as better than you because he do whatever,
Right.
do what straight men do. So it's the same thing as being black, is that there are differences, there are cultural differences, but what the problem is that when people say those differences make you less than,
Right.
the way you dance, the way you cook, the way you choose to dress, the style of clothes that you wear, the colors that you wear. I have heard comments about the way that we do our hair. And it is different, but it doesn't make us less than because we do our hair differently. And it's those types of things, when we talk about implicit bias, and we talk about looking at someone and immediately coming up with a long list of things that are different than about them, and then deciding in our minds that somehow that makes them less than. And the thing that I don't know if we're going to have a chance to talk about tonight, we're all guilty of that. We all, black, white, Latinx, Asian, we're guilty of looking at someone else based on these things we've been taught about race and color and style and culture, and deciding that our way is better than theirs. The problem with that is who has the power? Like, I can think that the way Latino people cook is not as good as the way I cook, which may be true. But for some reason, we've been taught that their way is more primitive than my way. But I don't have any power here, right? When this situation between white people and, I will dare say, the rest of the world, is that there's a mechanism for control, for money, for power, for keeping control of the finances, keeping control of land ownership, keeping control of the political power. So now I have control over this other group. That is the key to racism. I think that your way is less than mine, so I'm going to control you, or at the very least, expect you to assimilate to my way. And that's a very key thing that Kendi talks about here, is this assimilation. If you're going to do it right, you must come over to do it our way.
We have a few more questions to go.